Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
I was first.
No.
Yep, first to join.
Of course he was.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, buddy?
So I had a few beers tonight, a few IPAs.
Whoa. That's
And I've been tired today, so this is gonna be a ride.
we switching roles?
This is just, you're gonna have to carry this one.
Also, your skin color looks normal. Are you feeling all right?
Everything's in reverse. All right. Do you have any,
IPAs, well, save it for the national, bud.
do you have any mail days this week?
Nope.
No mail day. Christina, did you have any?
Mm-mm.
Neither did I. Oh my God, it's a drought,
I don't know if you heard, but the hobby is crashing, so.
and we're to blame apparently.
We are?
We're not buying any cards.
Oh, I see. I thought someone said something in the DM or something. This is horrible news. I didn't know that I did it. I'm sorry.
Damn, the chat is on today. All right.
Let's go.
Welcome to the crossover. Today is Friday, June 24th, and we have a bazillion questions. So,
We're good, too.
yeah, I was debating putting the questions about the NBA draft up front or not, just because, like, you and I don't really get too into college basketball and prospects at that stage.
Right.
But I know it's going to be good for the chat because I'm sure people have opinions. So let's just knock out the NBA draft. Are you okay with that?
Let's do it. Yeah, I know the top three guys, and I know Ivy. It gets a little dicey after that.
Well, did you know that the Oklahoma City Thunder drafted Jalen Williams with the 12th pick? And then with the 34th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder drafted Jalen Williams as well?
Well, Christina, what was the over-under? 5 minutes? I think you beat it.
That. I called it.
You guys know I workshop material in other venues before I debut it on the big stage.
Yeah, we happen to be in all of those venues.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Well, Riverfront Collectibles, the great, says, which NBA player will be the biggest hype recipient going into the season due to roster shakeups?
Roster shakeups. Well, do we count the draft as roster shakeups? Because there hasn't been
Sure.
big trades yet.
Yeah, sure.
I was thinking Cade Cunningham,
Yeah.
because South posted an interesting thing where the top three are big men, the top three picks,
Yep.
which isn't great for the hobby. But the Pistons had a really great draft. They got a nice trade to get Jalen Duren. They got Jaden Ivey, I believe, as a backcourt mate for Cade Cunningham. He had an exciting rookie year, so I think he seems like someone that could. And Prism eventually will come out. It seems like
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham was the best I could think of. I had one more though.
Okay.
Maybe you go, then I'll go, just in case I stole it from you.
Oh, no, go ahead. I don't have any.
My other was Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
He basically had a year off. Everyone forgot about him. I think the Hornets are coming off, a pretty exciting end to the season. They have a lot of promise right now, and Zion Williamson will definitely get some hobby hype coming into the next season.
Yeah. I think those are two great answers. I disagree with the idea that the first three picks, because they're large players, that won't be good for the hobby because, Chet doesn't really play like a traditional big,
Yeah.
and neither does Boncaro. And I think Boncaro is
A wing.
Huh?
He could be a wing, right?
Yeah, and he's huge, and he just stands out when you look at him on on the court. He's just, that guy's got a real presence about him. I really like Banchero. All right. South Park Cards says NBA draft and free agency, just in general. Any topics that you want to cover?
Well, do we want to spend any time on the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant thing?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting one. Bearing in mind, probably all we're seeing play out right now is a negotiation using public opinion to move the levers, but nonetheless, it's fun to sort of think about, well, what if Brooklyn implodes? Kyrie published his list of teams that he'd like to go to, like the Knicks, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Heat, a few others.
Mavs were on that list.
No, we're pretending like that didn't happen. And then, Durant obviously would be a treasure for any team to land, even though his next contract will, probably not be good value on the back end. So what do you think about Kyrie and KD and the potential the Nets imploding and these guys landing somewhere else?
Yeah, I think there's like way too many options for us to even try to guess. At this point, we're just the guys who Photoshop players in random jerseys. There's not enough like meat to it. To me, it's what you said. It feels like it's just these two guys using their leverage. I will say though that like the Nets are still kind of in control here. They have Durant for 4 more years, and like if Kyrie doesn't opt in and do some sort of sign and trade for a longer term deal, then he's stuck. So, like, I don't know that the market is as strong as he thinks it is for him. Like, I'd rather have Jalen Brunson.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I think most teams feel that way, and most teams look at his last 2 tenures, in particular with the Celtics and the Nets, and they just feel like this guy might be more trouble than he's worth.
I saw a trade scenario of like Kyrie for Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. Like, why would the Sixers do that? Why would they want to? First of all, didn't him and Harden not get along? Like, why? I don't understand that one. I've heard Kyrie to the Clippers. I don't know why the Clippers would do that. They already have 2 superstars, and the Lakers, I guess, are the only ones desperate enough to do it, but they have no trade assets. Unless the Nets really want to take Westbrook, but there's no chance it doesn't like. I just don't see like a clear path.
Yeah. I guess Zach Lowe or somebody had tweeted or wrote an article to the effect of like teams are preparing for the possibility that Kevin Durant may be available at the start of free agency, but to me it feels very unlikely. I think that Nets team ends up coming back together. This is really just a bizarre Kyrie negotiation for his contract.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any opinion on what basketball player has the biggest upside after last night's draft?
Like one of the rookies or just anybody?
Well, I don't think it has to be a rookie.
I really like Jaden Ivey. I said that on Clubhouse last night. I think the Pistons did really well. They've got a sweet backcourt. They got rid of Jeremy Grant, so I'm assuming they're clearing cap space to make a run at 8 or something. But Pistons are looking pretty nice. That'd be an exciting team. So I kind of feel like Jaden Ivey for me is an up and comer on a very young team that could be exciting.
What about Jalen Williams?
I actually don't even know who either of those guys are.
It's gonna get confusing next year. That's all I'm saying.
What do you think of Chet? Everyone wants to talk about like his, how skinny he is. Do you have any opinion on him?
Dude, the thing that impressed me the most about Chet is that he's apparently quite good on defense, not just offense.
Right.
So if you're 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan and you can protect the rim and, get 3 blocks a game or something cartoonish like that, which is what guys are forecasting for him. And then on offense, you can create off the dribble and you can shoot and you can move with great agility. There's a recipe there for a very dynamic player. And he's going to be able to develop and flourish in Oklahoma City. But, haven't we seen this body type collapse enough times under the pressures of the NBA wear and tear that, I think I'm going to reserve a little skepticism.
Yeah. Yeah, you're thinking of like Porzingis, basically.
Porzingis or, yeah. So I'll wait and see. It'll be great to wait and see. Like, Oklahoma City, man, those, now all of a sudden you got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, you got Trey Mann, you've got Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren. Like, all of a sudden, they're them and the Orlando Magic and the Houston Rockets. Like, these guys, one player from those three teams at a minimum is going to be a superstar, I think, in the next few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that, like, the bad teams always get the best picks. That's how it works. But I feel like all these bad teams have been bad for, like, 3 or 4 years straight, and they're just starting to really build up these assets. Yeah. And, like, the Thunder had a ton of picks. The Pistons have had a lot of picks. It seems like all of those teams are really loading up right now on really young talent. We could have a wave of, those teams making a push. Granted, most of them don't have, like the Pistons and the Kings, I'm thinking of the Thunder, don't have a lot of recent success, but, you build up a couple nice young superstars, then that can change quick.
Yeah, it can. Also, I just want to put an asterisk on what you said. The worst teams get to draft the best players, and they usually do. The one exception would be the Sacramento Kings, who just continue to strike out at every possible opportunity. And there was quite a bit of backlash about Keegan Murray as the number 4 pick. But did you know that last year he had the second highest player efficiency rating in college basketball history behind Zion? And do you know what his player efficiency rating was? 38.
Wow.
That's really, really high. That's really high.
Wow, he's your favorite player already.
Yeah, I've never watched a guy play a minute of basketball, but I'll definitely be giving him a chance on League Pass next year. All right. What about teams? Card Shop Dad wants to know, as our final question on the draft, were there any winners and losers at the team level?
Knicks lost.
The Knicks.
Yeah, I don't know what the Knicks are doing. I kind of like what the Blazers are doing. I like Jeremy Grant. I like that they're not just giving up and trying to trade Lillard. They're actually, like, sticking with it. It doesn't. What's the point of trading Lillard? You're just going to get a crappy pick maybe, and you're just not going to be able to replace Lillard. You might as well just keep him. So I like that they're picking up Jeremy Grant. I think he's a solid player. Like I said, the Pistons. I like what the Pistons are doing. I think they're loading up on young talent. Pelicans. I mean, the Magic, we haven't even talked about Banchero. The Magic could be – they just don't have much else right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like the pieces down there. I like the Wagner brothers, especially Franz. I like Cole Anthony. I like Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter Jr. is much better than I think a lot of people realize. That guy's a really good player. He was a lottery pick in 2018 for a reason, and he's going to thrive down there. The Magic can do some damage, I think, but it's a lot of it's going to be on how good Banchero is. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pressure on a rookie. So,
did you see that the Hornets brought back Clifford? He was their coach like 4 years ago.
Michael Jordan, front office goat.
He's like, just bring Clifford back. I'm too lazy to interview more people.
Oh, yeah, Markelle Fultz, Suggs, right on. Good points there.
Maybe Jonathan Isaac will play. He hasn't played in like 3 years. Man,
that sucks too. That sucks. He's a good player. Hampton, yeah, the Magic had some pieces. Okay. Oh, and I lied. There actually was one more question that I didn't bundle together properly in making my list. 515 Sports Card says, "Are you going to collect Nikola Jovic since the name is so close to Nikola Jokic?" And I actually go the other way on this one. I hate the fact that there's an imposter in this league, and he was drafted late first round by the Miami Heat, so there's a real chance of a flame out. But if he doesn't flame out and becomes a fixture in the league, I got a big problem with this guy, and he doesn't want to see me.
Well, I just have one question for you. Was he drafted during a Taco Bell commercial?
No, he was televised.
Okay.
So this guy's a better prospect than Nikola Jokic, right? Because he was drafted higher?
Low bar, but yes. All right. Let's get to some questions because there's many. August Born 79 says, "I'm going to the National for the first time ever this year. I'm going to go Thursday, and I'm looking to grade a card with PSA, our sister company. Any suggestions on how early I need to get there to avoid a long line?"
Pay for the early entrance if you're going to be there Thursday. Just pay for the early entrance, go straight there, and then just wait it out. It's best you can do.
Yep. Sounds about right. Okay. Also, like, hopefully you get there early. And as Josh said, as early as possible with the VIP early entrance. But still be prepared to face a long line.
Also, this is for everybody. Fill out your forms, your submission forms before so that you can just hand it to them instead of like, oh, what am I doing here? Oh, here's a submission form. It always like slows things up. So have everything ready to go.
Yeah, right on. You grading any cards at the National?
I'm potentially going to be grading it before then, depending on how next week goes. But if not, I will be grading one at National.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got a whole bunch potentially I want to grade. Okay. Corner Taken Quickly says, which will sell for more and why? The LeBron Triple Logo Man or the Exquisite RPA out of 23? So this is part of the Golden Auction. That's another sister company of ours. The Golden Auction that is ending tomorrow night. The two items with the highest current bids are the 2020 Flawless Logo Man LeBron 1 of 1 Triple Logo Man that features Logo Men from 3 different seasons with LeBron and the 3 different teams that he played for and won championships with. And then over here is the 03 Exquisite RPA Parallel out of 23 BGSA 5 Auto 10. Both of them are at, let's see, where are they at with buyer's premium? So the triple is at about $2.2 million with buyer's premium, and obviously because the Exquisite RPA is at about the same price pre-BP, it's probably about $2.1 million with BP. So what do you think, Josh? Which one's going to end up selling for more?
I guess I'll guess the RPA will finish ahead just because, it's autographed, it's a rookie. It's pretty obvious I'm not a big fan of the Triple Logo Man. It's cool, it's a neat card, but I would definitely rather have the rookie, especially the gold parallel, just a huge card.
Yeah, and so, even though both these cards are at about 2.1, 2.2 million right now, to give a little perspective on what can happen in extended bidding and on the final day, here's a Bird Magic PSA 10 rookie, which I can see using card ladder as a pop 22. The last comp for this card was in April, and it sold for $840,000. Right now, it's only at $350 pre-BP, a little bit over $400 with BP. So this card's only gotten halfway to its last comp. So there can be a lot of action on the final day, or there could be none. Sometimes it goes both ways, but I'll definitely be tuning in tomorrow night to see how this is all going to shake out. And a lot of people, I think, are going to be looking at this auction to give them an idea of how the market's holding up.
That's right.
Cow Cards also question with respect to the Golden Auction. He says that the Michael Jordan PMG Red BGS 7 is sitting at $288,000 with buyer's premium on Golden, and it ends tomorrow night. It could possibly end even up at $400,000 when it's all said and done. Are PMG Reds recession proof? And so, I think it's very dangerous to call anything recession proof. And B, I own a copy of that card. So anything I have to say about PMG Red should be taken with a grain of salt. What do you think, Josh?
I mean, it's one of the most popular, most important, sports cards that exist. So there's always going to be demand for it. It's just a matter of who's bidding on it at the time, who needs it, what 2 people are going to bid the highest. I mean, on something like this, we're just guessing really of whether it's going to be 500 or 300. It kind of depends.
Yeah. Really cool story behind that card, too, in that it got pulled from a pack a few months ago.
Wow, really?
Graded at the Dallas Card Show. and sent to Golden, and this guy's about to see his card sell for probably somewhere in the ballpark of $300,000 to $400,000.
I feel like it would have done more as a PSA 6, especially given the shenanigans recently from that set and the 90s basketball. It's safer in PSA, but still going to do a staggering number.
Yeah, well, as a buyer, I have maximal confidence buying 90s grails and PSA slabs because above all of the PSA guarantee. So that's a great policy that PSA has. I wish every grading company had it. They just stand behind their grade and their determination of authenticity. So any individual card purchased on the secondary market, PSA stands by its grade and its determination of authenticity up to a cap of $250,000 per card. And yes, that cap was not always there, but it is now. And but still, that's I think that's huge when a grading company's want to do that. Do you have any other thoughts on the Golden auction tomorrow night?
It's quality over quantity. There's a bunch of big time cards, potentially a couple that I might be bidding on myself. It's just jam packed with awesome stuff.
You want to tell us what those are?
I do not. I'm excited to see, because I feel like there's been this sense of this sort of slow death feeling of like, oh, the market's, correcting, crypto and stocks are crashing, people have less money, other platforms are performing very poorly. Is Golden going to be the one to quote unquote, turn the tide here, turn things around, or is, Golden going to kind of fall in line with the other platforms? And that's what we want to see, because if anyone's going to beat expectations of where the hobby is headed price-wise, I think it would be this auction, because it's just it's loaded with, amazing one-of-ones and stuff that you're not able to just pick up at a card show off somebody and resell it, like this is stuff that's in collectors' possessions.
Absolutely. Yeah, just kind of browsing here. Remember, if you want to bid on this auction, you need to get your bid in prior to extended bidding tomorrow night. And if you're signing up for the first time, there can be some snags and you need to get approved to increase your credit limit if you want to buy a certain level of cards. So don't, if there's a card in here that you want, make sure you're on top of it. Don't procrastinate like me. This is a cool card. This is the exquisite RPA of Aaron Rodgers.
It's not considered to be his true RPA, but dang, a PSA 10, that's pretty slick.
Yeah, and I believe the last time this card sold was for $23,000 in February, and right now the card is at $21,600. So, not
big
bad.
card, man.
Yeah. So all right. Yeah. Enough shilling for Golden. Okay. Next question comes from Drake's PC. He says, around a month ago, JGP Collectibles posed a question around filtering indexes based on population count on Card Ladder, and it was well received. Is there any updates on this?
I don't know, Christina, are there updates? Am I allowed to show stuff?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Show stuff. With this hobby needs a little bit of good news, Josh.
Anything that's been published, Josh, you can show.
Don't listen to her.
Hasn't been published. Hasn't been published.
Well, then why are you showing it? No,
it's going to be published. I'm so close to being done.
Yeah, just show it.
We're working on indexes that are built custom. And I just added this because I forgot about this, but sneak peek for Drake. You'll be able to create your own. You'll be able to create your own index using population filters.
It's awesome.
I don't want to show anymore because there's a lot more to it, but the indexes are getting a big boost here in a couple days.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's all you get because people out there suck.
I'm just so excited. I've been using it all day, and I hope you're jealous because it's awesome. I've just been making random indexes, like stuff that it's just like, oh, The best part about it is when someone says something crazy like, "Oh, I think this is actually performing well or this is undervalued." Make a fucking index and prove it. Because I had a theory on one. I sent you a picture of it and I posted it. It was like down 25% last month. A specific index of hand-chosen cards, and it was like, "Oh, I was wrong."
The great Cage lawyer would like to know, can we get an only Kaboom index?
Done. You'll be able to make your own.
You'll be able to make your own in 5 seconds using all the Kabooms. And we have like over 1,000 different grades of Kabooms.
You're welcome.
You want to talk about in specific any of the examples that you built of indexes?
I did LeBron Silver Prism PSA 10 run. Those have just been getting smashed over the last year and a half. Just absolutely smashed. And I was like, oh, they probably turned the corner. Nope, down 24% in the last month.
Yeah. Yeah. Or an index without Kabooms. Everything but the Kabooms.
Nope, there's limits to what we can do. Don't promise them that stuff.
No, I know. I was just reading something from the chat. There's going to be a limit on how many cards you can put into it generally, right?
Yeah.
An index of a particular person's bad picks over the year.
Hey, somebody just alluded to something similar. Okay.
Dude, you can make an index of like your 500 favorite cards. There's gonna be stuff like that. We should do like a contest.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a great opportunity for content creators to see if they can, especially the ones who just are so enthusiastic about, moderating enthusiasm for cards. Make an index that just shows the cards suck, and then post it everywhere.
Yes, the stock bros are gonna have a field day with us. They're gonna kill us. No, I was gonna say I get DMs of like, why don't you have this index? I can't believe you have this but not this. Like, fine, make your own now, guy. Now you're smarter than me. Finally.
Oh, I can't wait to see an index that's like down 8 bazillion %.
It's just like posted to your face.
What now, bro?
They're just gonna
this was
someone's gonna sort by lowest monthly percentage possible and just hand pick those cards, Well, you handpicked the CL50, so I get to handpick the CL shitty.
The CL shitty, that's great. Oh, that's great. Okay. Tommy B. Card says, hypothetical. If you could only collect cards from one sport and one season, what would it be?
This is the easiest question of all time.
Yeah, this is so easy, yeah.
It's probably easy for both of us. I can guess yours. You say mine and I'll say yours. How about that?
Well, you have 2 different answers, but I'm going to tell you what I think your answer should be. Your answer should be 0304. That's what I think.
What sport?
Basketball.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Okay. Because sometimes you get into simp mode with me. Well, what were you going to say mine is? 97,
98 basketball?
Yeah, and I didn't want you to say that one because I want that one to be mine.
Oh, yeah, no, I was like, dude, my favorite player is LeBron. My main PC is LeBron. I can't have a pre-LeBron year.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, and that's right. Those are 2 super obvious 2 of the greatest years of sports cards.
I think the 2 greatest years of sports cards.
Yeah. Okay, now do a non-obvious one.
But I would do 18 basketball.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I would just collect all Luka.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
I like 18 basketball.
Yeah, now, okay, so we got 18 basketball, 97 basketball, and 03 basketball. Now do a non-obvious one, so you can't do basketball.
Yeah. 2006. Oh, I can't do basketball. Shit.
All right, you can do basketball. Just an off year.
2006. I'm just thinking of some of my favorite exquisite chrome type things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's what I was looking for. Is you like 06 products. And my non-obvious one will be, well, it actually is obvious. 2017 football. Amazing rookie class.
Good answer.
And great products as well.
Mine 96 baseball.
96 baseball. Why?
Because Arena Design did baseball that year, and they did all the best inserts from basketball in all the baseball products, and I really like that year of metal baseball.
Got it. All right, and for the edification of listeners or viewers on YouTube or listening later, some of the recommendations from the chat: 98 football, 2024 curling, 1992 NBA. 1932 basketball cards. They didn't make basketball cards that year. 2017 soccer, 2019 Bowman, 1982 wrestling, 2000 football, 1989 baseball, 1990 hockey, 2022 zero cool. All right, that'll do it. Good answers. Thank you for participating, chat. You guys,
The 2017 football, RPA, and cracked ice is my favorite combo of RPA, cracked ice, because football's big on those two as your main rookies. And the 2017 contenders, oh my gosh, what an amazing design.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
That's my favorite McCaffrey card you have, by the way, the cracked ice PSA 10. Love that card.
Nice. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. Okay. Vinny Slabarino says, always enjoy the show. Do you think there is such a thing as a card being too scarce? A rare card that nobody has ever seen before seems to be less valuable than a rare card that everybody knows about. So a rare card seems to need to be seen once in a while to keep the hobby's interest. Like the sighting of a white whale always gets more press than when a scientist discovers a new whale species.
Yeah, my example of this is that Jordan autograph rookie that's sold on Christie's for $1 million. A lot of people don't know about that card. I barely know about it. I've only seen a few copies of it. It's a little bit too scarce, too niche. I think that's a good example of that card, or of that category.
Yeah. Yep. Also, for the record, that was the second highest selling Michael Jordan card ever.
Yeah, but I mean the estimate says 2 to 3 million.
Yeah. And that's just publicly but yeah, I mean I agree. That's a very obscure card that's also very rare. And the rarity plays into its obscurity.
The rarity of that is the same as the 97-98 game jersey Jordan. That's out of 23, and that card would sell for gobs more.
Yeah.
And he's wearing an all-star jersey, and the other one's a rookie card. You would kind of think rookie autograph, that should sell more than the all-star jersey, but because it's not as well known and not traded as often.
Yeah, I agree. My answer to this, Vinny, is that I think you're getting close to setting up a false dichotomy here, because a card can be very rare and never seen, but it can always be present in people's minds. And I think the perfect example of that, from my point of view, and this is biased because this is the stuff that I collect, but Prism Golds and Prism Blacks, I think those are great examples of cards that are very visible and often thought of because people collect the silvers and the color, and those show up a lot, but the golds and the blacks very rarely show up. So they're very scarce, but they're always front of mind, even though you never see them show up for sale. So to me, that's the sweet spot in collecting, is you can find cards that, are parallels or derivatives of iconic cards that people are knowledgeable about, but that never show up.
You want to know something crazy off of that thought?
Sure.
I'll blow your mind. I'll blow the audience's mind.
Galaxy Brain.
Possibly the most beloved, sought-after, chased card in the hobby is the 2018 Prism Black Luka. Agree?
It's up
there. Possibly the most hated, shit-on card in the hobby is the 2018 Prism Base Luka. They're the same card. One of them's black and one of them's, regular.
Yeah, boom. That's a great point. Yeah. Great question, though. And I like where Slabarino's mind is at, because that's a really good question. Okay, Perimeter Collectibles says, what is a bigger driver for Golden and PWCC bringing higher auction prices than other platforms? Is it exposure, awareness, and quality of service? Is it financing? Is it leverage? Is it payment flexibility options? What do you think?
I mean, it's all those, right? The other one I would add is confidence. I mean, all of those kind of the confidence in all of those things to me is like the foundation of it. But confidence that when I pay for something, it's going to get shipped properly. It's going to, they're going to market it properly through all the different avenues that they market. They're going to, they've got a strong customer base existing already. I don't have to worry about, it's them being a new company that pops up out of nowhere and I'm not sure what they have. I know what I'm getting out of them. Their tech is solid. I know it's not going to break down. Confidence in the payments, like the commenter calls out. Confidence that, the cards aren't going to get bludgeoned when they sell because they have no track record of, getting destroyed every week. I mean, it's confidence.
What do you think is the biggest factor? Is it the exposure and awareness that exists for them, the brand recognition? Is it the quality of the service that they provide? Is it the financing piece and the payment flexibility, sending cards in lieu of sending cards for consignment in lieu of payments?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest one?
I feel like we expect, just like out the gate, we expect most of those. So the one that is kind of the wild card, I guess, is like the brand recognition and the like awareness of those companies.
Yeah. I'm tempted to say payment flexibility is pretty high too, because, but it feeds into your thesis of confidence. Because if you are confident enough in the brand of these auction houses that you can win a card that you really want and essentially trade for it by sending in a different card from your collection to pay for it, and you have the confidence that they're going to obtain fair market price of your card and that they're going to properly release the card to you once you've satisfied the balance owed, I think that's a pretty big factor too, is the ability to do that.
Can I say one more?
Yeah.
Confidence in the people that we know work at those companies, that they're like ingrained in the hobby. We know that like a lot of people that work at those companies have like the hobby common sense of like they know us. They're in the community. We know who they are, so we can communicate with them directly. And the common sense of like, yeah, if I win this auction, I'm good for it. I'm in the hobby. I have cards, as collateral if I need to. Like, there's all these different ways that you can kind of leverage your relationship with these people and your standing in the hobby or your confidence in them as people to kind of make sure that it gets done right. It gets done the hobby way. You know what I mean?
Definitely. JGP Collectibles says, what card holds the title in the hobby for the biggest bust? A card that many people had huge expectations for, but now can be found in the dollar bin.
I thought about this one. I've got my answer. It's not the card isn't worth $1. Is that okay? It's not like a dollar bin. Like, if you want to go dollar bin, you're talking like Anthony Bennett or Greg Oden, if you want to go that way. But I went for a card of a big player. And at the time, I'll just say it's the 2019 Prism Base Zion. That was like peak Prism Base hype. And a lot of that hype and recognition goes to the Luka, but the Zion was there for it as well. And the Zion card has a much higher pop. And it was like off of the hype. At the time, it was like the hype of the base, and Zion was the rookie class. And it was just like, people just thought, all you got to do is buy these Zion base cards. And that card is a major bust. Just go look at that graph. It's just downright and no good.
Yeah, that graph is. So those got as high as $1,000 in late 2020, and
What is it now?
today it's about $190.
That's not too bad. What's the pop though?
Over 21,000.
Oh my god, that's almost as much as the Acuna rookie, right?
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be close. Let's see here. Acuna Tops update. It's more. The population on the Acuna is 20,800.
All right, give us a more clever answer. I gave the boring answer.
I don't know. I really didn't have an answer. I would want to like look into it. I just didn't have time to before the show. I'm sure there are some spectacular, 20,000 to 500 cards, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head.
The Kobe PSA 10 Star Date rookie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember, in fact, somebody trying so hard to convince us that he had sold his for 100,000, but not being able to provide all the evidence that we needed, and so we never verified the sale.
What are they now?
Well, the highest it ever got in terms of verified sales was 43 grand.
Okay.
And today, they're selling anywhere from 7 to 9 grand.
I could probably find one that's like, I'm thinking of cards that like got way hyped up of everyone's all excited. This card's, it deserves to be 100 grand, or it like everyone's kind of like, yeah, of course this is this high. It always should have been. And you and I were like, what? This card was like 2 grand a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of that. That's the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, there's quite a few that fit that category.
The 2012 Prism.
Don't get me started on 2012 Prism.
The Kawhi sold for like 200 grand. Yeah, maybe the Kawhi Gold or something.
Okay. JGP Collectibles said, I just did that one. Corner Take Quickly says, considering the slab and the label should enhance the card's aesthetics and not hurt them, is it time for Beckett to retire the white and the blue labels as opposed to the silver and the gold labels and just make everything below gem a silver label?
Or maybe an easy move, and it's all positive. I don't see the negative in making that move. Those white labels are terrible.
Agreed. All right, Big Cheese Sports Card says, when purchasing cards on Instagram, is PayPal's buyer and seller protection effective?
Yes.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to use it?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. No, I mean,
I would-
like affirmatively use it, like.
Oh, no.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, no, we pay goods and services and receive money.
No, there was one time.
Okay.
There was one time, and the guy just like never shipped the card.
And you were able to obtain a refund.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right. So
I push for it a lot. If it's like, even if the person is like, oh, I can get you vouchers, I'm like, I don't know, man, like 3%, 4%. What are we talking about here?
Mhm.
Like I'm willing to even like walk away from the deal if they're gonna be that weird about it.
Yeah, especially when a seller's like, even if you're like, yeah, I'll cover fees, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, taxes. It's like, come on, man, pay your taxes, dude.
All right, the Coos guy says, are championships baked into everybody's prices? Every time a team wins a ring, it feels like their market goes down. And I think the latest victim of this, if you want to call it that, is Stephen Curry. Not all of his cards, but just looking at his total market index on Card Ladder, over the last month, it's down 3%. Over the last 3 months, it's down 17%. So Curry's market, it is down in the aggregate, and that's tracking 247 cards.
Yeah,
So what do you think?
I think that's less of like the championship being baked in prior, and it's more so to do with the supply increasing with people trying to cash in on him winning the championship, and like the finality of the season being over and people moving on to the next thing. I've heard the championship baked in thing as like a cliche. I don't know. Maybe it's just like maybe that player's exciting and they're young and people like are excited to collect them and they're enjoying buying their cards because they're they've got a future that's bright. Maybe it's just that. Maybe there is justification for spending big money on a young player that you really enjoy watching and you feel like has a bright future. It's not like I'm saying, yeah, this guy's definitively going to win 3 championships and I should buy now. Like, I don't know if that's happening anymore.
Yeah, fair. All right, we had some questions about Card Ladder's 2-year anniversary.
Oh, nice.
What?
All right, so Big J, and I could have put this at the beginning, but I felt like it was more humble to like get some questions out of the way and then do it. All right, Big John collector's cards, typo by me there, says, congrats on 2 years since launching Card Ladder. The Wharf Sports Cards says, reflect on some of your fonder memories and successes with Card Ladder. What have been the moments that stick out the most? It could be achievements, relationships developed, anywhere you want to take it.
Yeah.
Well, right off the bat, when that guy Wharf Sports Cards started making reels using Card Ladder imagery, that was a pretty nice accomplishment for the brand. Nick, shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I posted the thing about, how proud I am of the team and stuff, and it's awesome to see. That's a good one that you just said. Like, it's cool to see people using it in their content or in the public to like see people using the tool and getting value out of it, and using it to drive and engagement and traffic on their own platforms. I think that's obviously very exciting. Yeah,
the one thing we've always done different than any other platform that tries to come into the sports card pricing and data space is, well, we've done a lot of things different, but one that's like super obvious as I see different ones come and go is we put such an emphasis on accurate data. And, every day, 720 plus days, we have spent vetting thousands and thousands. Well, ultimately it's now millions and millions of sales. And we've put tech in place. We've troubleshooted scenarios and systems to make sure that we pull in every sale from 14 different marketplaces as it's happening. We vet each sale. We make sure it goes to the right card and the right profile, and it shows up in the right area and in the right place in your collection ultimately, if you're tracking that card yourself. And if that's the foundation for all of this, is having good data. And not just good data, but clean data, immaculate data. So, that's one thing I noticed is that, that's what's always made us different. That's what we've always cared about. And, I don't see anybody, I see these companies keep coming and going, and they always seem to miss that part. They always seem to not understand that giving your users accurate, comprehensive, complete data is super important. In terms of memories and successes and stuff, dude, it all just feels like it's been a lot of fun, whether it's talking to collectors, whether it's rolling out new features, whether it's getting to join the team of collectors and collaborate with people over there and, collaborate on a brand level. It's just everything. All of it's just been really special and a lot of work. So I couldn't pick out one thing, honestly. It's just been awesome.
I really like the sort of behind the scenes, strategizing / hard work just from the four of us, like on a daily basis, the consistency, maybe the stuff that other people won't ever get to see because it's not as sexy. We're not posting videos of ourselves, working 10, 12, 14-hour days coding and vetting sales and replying to hundreds of emails and feedback posts and some of the ugly stuff. That's why I posted that story of the, Jordan, LeBron doing those faces, because I feel like that's the four of us. Like, we just we don't really talk about it as much. We just sort of put our head down, stare at what's ahead of us and do it.
Yep. Christina, do you want to weigh in?
This honestly has been the best 2 years of my life, and I just want to thank everyone who's been supportive and has supported us publicly and privately. Your encouragement and constantly helping us make a better product for you and the rest of the hobby just means the world to me. You asking for your custom indexes and your everything. It's just I can't pick one thing. The entire 2 years have just been amazing.
There you go. And if Stiff Arm Wax was down here, I'd ask him as well. He's in the chat, I think, so maybe he can chime in about what his favorite part was. But we just had two other questions. Mike Pinkerton 50 says, how have you changed your enjoyment of the hobby after starting Card Ladder, and do you enjoy it more or less?
Well, I think I'll answer first. It's given me a better empathy for people that collect in different ways. Like we have our way of doing it. And when you're only collecting, you just kind of do your way and you know your people and your friends. But if you make a business, you really have to like adapt to everyone's way, and you have to kind of figure out what everyone wants and cover all the use cases, especially in software. And especially from my end of building the software, the product side of it, I've had to cater to things that I may not have thought of myself. Same for you, Chris. You and I have both kind of had that reality punch us in the face a bunch of times. Like, wow, why would I? Like the whole sales history almost wouldn't have been a thing. Or like adding cards to your collection from sales history. That's kind of a funny one that we never would have done. It doesn't make any sense. And
yep.
But now it's like one of our most popular features. So I don't know. Yeah.
You rolled over here. Do you have something to say?
I was reading the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, Card Ladder became, like before Card Ladder, the primary ways that I enjoyed my collection, this is probably true for the rest of the team too, is like just curating my own collection, or me and Christina's collection, curating the collection, adding stuff to it, moving stuff from it, tracking it, in different ways, and then, making a podcast and talking about cards and stuff like that. But once we started Card Ladder, like now that became my primary way of enjoying the hobby, as opposed to focusing on my own collection and a podcast. Instead, my primary way of enjoying the hobby was like serving our customers, getting cards into the database that they wanted to see, developing features that they wanted to see, trying to bring value to the hobby by, building a tool that can make it a lot easier to have confidence in prices and get an idea of pricing and collection tracking and stuff like that. So, that's how it changed. It's not better, it's not worse. It's just my hobby efforts got diverted away from just focusing on a podcast and a collection and into like Card Ladder is like the collection of the hobby. How about that? How about that for a slogan? Like all the cards in Card Ladder, this is like the hobbies collection, because all these cards are cards that people ultimately requested or desired to be added to our database, with a few exceptions. So yeah, my collection became insignificant and Card Ladder became the collection. Okay.
Rodman says, I chipped in as well. Beta users deserve recognition. Remember those original beta users? We had like 10 or so. Shout out to the original OG members.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah. No, Rodman is a big reason why we have a collection feature before launch. Because during
enough collection feature. Don't you guys think this is good enough? They're like, I feel like you need more.
during beta, he was like, you guys should like think about having a collection feature. We're like, oh, I mean, dude, how about this? Like, it's hard to think about it, but like 2 years ago, the software aspect of the hobby versus today
Was Excel?
Shout out Card Porn. Thank you, Card Porn. Yeah, I mean, at that time, having a collection tracking feature was pretty novel, right?
Right.
So,
Can I say one more thing?
What's that?
I'm going to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Before we all get all too snappy.
David Owen says he was a beta guy. You still
was? Good. I think I could probably name like 7 or 8 of the beta guys. Which is a funny statement because they're not alpha, they're betas.
Yep, Kaushik as well.
I just want to say, like, before we move on, that 2 years ago, plus maybe less though, because I was still working a full-time job until we were acquired. But I had a job I hated, and like I got to play in the hobby as like my extracurricular time after I like came home from a job that I hated. And like every day I would wake up and say, I have to go to work today to pay our bills. And now I wake up and I say, I get to go to work today. And that is like the biggest change, I think, of the last 2 years for me, that my hobby time has like grown exponentially because I'm able to work within the hobby and have a job that I'm passionate about that, like, don't tell Nat, but I would do for free anyway.
Okay. That's when you cut Christina off. All right, and go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's cliche to say like, oh, it's a team effort. All the NBA guys say that, but this one is like the most clear definition of like equal percentages of effort and reason that we got to this point is crazy. Like literally, if you took one of us out, this whole thing would come crumbling down.
Yeah, very, very true.
That phrase, like, oh, you better like figure out how to get other people up to speed because if you got hit by a bus, what would you do tomorrow? If one of you guys got hit by a bus,
our card ladder wouldn't survive anybody even being out for a day or two. I guess like we can kind of fill in for a little while, but it's not going to last long.
yeah, so shout out to Cole and Nick as well. They're not here to represent themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Stiff Arm Mike should be in the chat, but apparently he's not. Okay.
Well, he can't say words with his mouth.
All right. Flip in the final question, then we'll move on from this sappy topic. Flippin' Hoop says, does Card Ladder have their own booth at the National, or is the team going as attendees? So we do have a booth. We have two booths. We're at booth 145 with the great folks from My Slabs, and then we will also be positioned in some form or fashion at the at the PSA booth.
Well, so there's actually two booths for PSA and collectors. PSA booth is in the Breakers Pavilion, and that's where you're going to grade your cards. But they have customer service reps there, so if you have a question about Card Ladder, they can direct you as well. And then there's the corporate booth, the marketing booth of collectors, which is in the corporate pavilion, right across from the golden booth. There will be Card Ladder people, like customer service people there who can help you. But if you want to talk to us, the three of us, we will be at the My Slabs Card Ladder booth, booth 145, which is on the edge of the Breakers Pavilion.
But I don't know why anybody would want to talk to us, so.
And we're going to be wandering because we are wanderers.
Yeah, I mean, we would maybe spend more time at the PSA and collectors booth, but Ken Golan's going to be over there. There's going to be legions of people just surrounding him and trying to get autographs and stuff. So
I hear he has a security to keep us away. Actually, I was told.
Exactly. So, all right. Tom Lorman says, "Who are your most underrated '90s NFL players?"
Man, I saw this question and I was really struggling. I was thinking of like, this is such a lame like hype beast answer, but like defensive players maybe, because I feel like the receivers and running backs from the '90s get a lot of love. Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, those guys. The quarterbacks obviously always get love. I just wanted to give some love to like the defensive players. I struggled to name a bunch, but
yeah, no, that I like it. I'm gonna give one that's not as I like your answer a lot better than the one I'm about to give, but this is one that I think has some merit to it. So there's a quarterback from the '90s who went to 11 Pro Bowls, had 3 straight MVPs, was 4-time NFL passing touchdowns leader, 2 times passing yards leader. He's the NFL completion percentage leader in his 1998 season. He's got a Super Bowl championship. He was also Offensive Player of the Year once, made 3 first-team All-Pros. Over the course of his career, he passed for 72,000 yards with a 62% completion percentage and a passer rating of 86. Brett Favre. I think.
let me guess.
Oh fuck! You had the look on your face like you knew who it was. So I was
gonna say Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is technically correct.
I was waiting for you to say 1 championship, then I was ready to give my answer because that's my. I know he's got 1 championship, which no shade, but like he's got amazing stats.
Yeah, 3 straight MVPs is just insane.
That's wild. I didn't know that one, but
yeah, from 1995, 96, and 97, 3 straight MVPs. And, he just had his highest selling card in the history of his cards sell not long ago. It was sold 8 days ago with PWCC. It's this card. It was a PSA 9 of his PMG green, which obviously is a cool jersey color match. Now, PMGs in football are numbered to 15, so they can't really be apples to apples compared to basketball, which only has 10. But this card sold for, how much does it sell for? $78,000.
And a PSA 9, that's an incredible grade.
Yeah, really, really tough grade. Highest selling Brett Favre card ever. And, well-deserved.
What a sweet card.
Yeah, if you're just like, what's one football card from the 90s that you'd like to own? That one's really, really, really high on the list.
I think we have a common friend who owns that card whose birthday is tomorrow.
Ooh.
Well, happy birthday to that guy. I heard he got really excited pulling a Tom Brady card. So.
Color Blast. I hope Jordan's at National. You know how everyone's like, oh, this card's too expensive, that one's too cheap, hype, undervalued, all that shit. I just feel like there should be a lot of people out there that really want that card. So like $70,000 it doesn't bother me, that seems like reasonable. It seems like it's freaking his best card, right? Of like one of the best quarterbacks of all time and a really, really popular team with a lot of great fans. Like, it makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense to me too. And when you just look at that guy's resume, it's pretty special. Okay. Dillick Card says, I really enjoyed seeing Nat Turner post 10 impressive cards of different players that he collects. Did you guys have a favorite that you saw? And is there a card that you would love to have out of those 10? To me, the Kobe's were really nice. So, like, here, what's he posting here? Larry Johnson's.
Del Curry.
Yeah, he posted Del Curry PMG green. He posted an F1 card that he hit. What is this? 10 Mickey Mantle cards. Okay, so the 65 Topps, 94 Upper Deck, Griffey and Mantle dual autograph card, 69 Topps Mantle, PSA 10, 68 Topps Mantle, PSA 10, 57 Topps Mantle, PSA 10, 66 Topps Mantle, PSA 10, 53 Bowman Color Mantle, PSA 10, 52 Bowman, PSA 10, damn. 61 Topps Mantle, PSA 10, and the 59 Topps Mantle, PSA 10. That's a little sample to some of the stuff he's been posting.
Did you have Grant Hill one?
Yeah, I think he did. At least that sounds familiar. Scrolling here to see if I can find it. Well, here's a really cool one. This was Iverson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, this is the Iverson grand finale. I thought he did 10 of Iverson, but he's been doing these 10s for a while. Oh, I think this is it. No, fuck. The original credentials. He's just showing off the credentials set.
Basically, like any of like the 90s players who are, superstars or like close, all-star level guys, and he shows their top 10 90s cards, I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that. Like Grant Hill, Iverson, Shaq.
Yep.
Gary Payton, look at that one.
He only has 5 to go to complete his 97 Ultra Platinum medallion. Yeah. 03 UD Finite Gold LeBron. Said he'd been looking for that one for a while. What is this?
Pretty sweet that
Clay.
the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the hobby is just sitting in his man cave posting pictures of his cards.
Here's 10 Tracy McGrady cards, again, some 90s.
Can I just say it's nice that at least one CEO of a large hobby company actually collects cards?
Christina finds a way to take Josh's sentiment and make it much more pointed. All right, 97 Bowman's Best Atomic.
In case anyone is like not picking up what might be put down in like kind words, let me be blunt.
And then Christina takes what I said and makes it much more pointed.
You don't think that digital NFTs and digital cards are the future of our hobby?
No. This is as digital as I like to get, is looking at pictures on a computer. All right, so let's go through these T-Max. 97.
Click them, goddammit.
1997 Bowman's Best Atomic. 97. Remember, his rookie was 97. Super Rave. Those are numbered to 50. Finest and Boss. Tracy.
Hey, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. Finest and Boss. Refractor McGrady. These are numbered to 74. Saw Coleman Cars just picked up one of those. 99 Skybox Premium Century Marks, numbered to 50. 97 Upper Deck Rookie Discovery. '97 Platinum Medallion. '98 Skybox EX Century, Tracy McGrady. Credentials now. Looks like it's numbered to 17. '98 Bowman's Best McGrady Atomic. Oh, yeah. '97 PMG Red. And, of course, a PSA 9 of the Tracy McGrady PMG Green. Was this, are these Steve Nash cards? Yeah, 10 awesome Steve Nash cards, PMG Red, Platinum Medallion again. Classic 61, these are number 61 from '98 Fleer Tradition. 2013 Prism Gold PSA 10, 2005 Top Style 52 Gold. '97 Skybox Base, Steve Nash's second year base card, PSA 10. '96 Bowman's Best Atomic, that's a rookie card for Nash, PSA 10. '97 Muddy Universe base. Wow, he likes the Steve Nash base cards. '98 Flair Showcase Legacy Row 2 of Nash, and of course Nash's PMG Green. I mean, it never ends here. 10 Wade cards. I mean, look, I'm going to cut this off here, but guy's got a lot of nice cards.
Dude, it is like raining and storming like crazy here. And if you've ever been to Arizona, it literally never rains.
That doesn't happen.
So my son woke up and he's like, "What's happening? What is that noise?" It's like, it's rain. Oh, what is that?
The world is ending. There's water falling from the sky.
Pretty much. Yep. He's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "Nothing. Go back to sleep. It's fine. It's just rain."
Oh, look who's graced us with his presence in the chat. Fat Snack.
Sure, Jordan. Now that he's big time with Bleecker, I can't believe he has time for us anymore.
I can't believe it either. He did miss the first hour, but I'm glad to see him in here now. All right. Drake's PC says, I scroll through stories every day and see cases where someone has won an auction and then immediately asked to cancel the auction, or they just won't pay for a card. We all know what eBay should do about it. But other than calling out the bad actors, what more can we as a hobby community do to nudge eBay to make more impactful changes to prevent this?
I don't know, man. eBay is so big. It's hard. It's like, what are we gonna do? You know, I think they're just so big. I'm not sure there's anything we can do.
Yeah, that's the nihilistic, pessimistic answer, but it's also the realistic one. I really don't know if there's much we can do. That's kind of what it boils down to, I think.
We've been talking about this since we joined the hobby, and it hasn't changed. So like, I'm just, I'm beat down on this one.
Yeah, we've probably given more eloquent answers to this question at other points, but you can only fucking talk about it passionately like 10 times before.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, I get that you're just trying to boost the value and you're shilling and you're fucking scamming the hobby. Thanks. But, like, it's so annoying. Every time I win an auction, I pay immediately because I just bid on it. Because I'm watching the auction. The fact that you don't pay right away just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, some people forget that they bid on something, and then 5 days go by and no one else bid on it. And then they need 24 hours to, like, come back to eBay and be like, oh, shit, I need to pay this.
Yeah, Jordan legacies and stuff.
All right. Dano Gilby says, how about spending some time on the female athletes and collectors? Love listening to you all and appreciate what you do. So how about it? How about spending some time on female athletes and collectors? Well, Christina has a very strong opinion about who the greatest female athlete is, don't you?
Yes.
And who is it?
It's the only female who ever competed with Jordan. It's Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm.
It's Mia Hamm.
Yeah.
So
what about Lisa Leslie?
How about Lisa Leslie?
No, it's Mia Hamm.
She says no.
Mount Rushmore, then.
Mount Rushmore.
Mia Hamm, Serena Williams, Sue Bird.
Damn.
Yeah, and Leslie.
It's got to be 2 WNBA players.
Yeah.
Serena's a good one.
I try to get into women's sports, but Christina threatens me. She says, "What are you doing looking at these girls playing sports?"
Well, their uniforms, they're a little different than male uniforms.
Now, maybe my problem was I jumped right into beach volleyball, but
Probably that.
Big mistake. Isn't Luca a pretty good-looking dude, though?
I wouldn't know, Josh. You tell me.
That's half the reason why I watch him.
Pretty good-looking dude. His hair is always on point. Like, he knows that he's just going to mess it up with his sweaty, basketball playing, but it doesn't matter. He goes out, A-plus effort on the hair.
Yeah, that hair is, well, actually the hair is kind of, we noticed throughout the season that he, gets haircuts all the frickin' time. And sometimes they're, really bad. So
he's always doing this in the press conference. He's always like,
yeah. 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 So
his hair grows really quickly.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. His fades are whack. Yeah, they're really bad.
He just goes to some random barbershop.
Or he might be doing it himself because
awesome.
He might be like a freak whose hair just grows like a month's worth overnight. I seriously think that might happen.
Well, we were watching a game this season, and 2 days, he had this stupid fade, and then 2 days later he had a full head of hair.
Yes.
And
yes.
his mom and grandma are both hairdressers, so he might be cutting his own hair.
Yeah.
Chris, are you giving him all of your?
Yeah. I made a donation to his hair supply.
Dude, maybe he's like Dwight Schrute. He cuts his own hair.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he's like Christopher Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber. Maybe he cuts his own hair.
Yeah. And then, okay, and as far as female collectors go, there are quite a few in this hobby, and you can find them on Instagram. You'll see them at the National. Christina's obviously one of them. They'll be doing some events at the National that are female collector-centric. And,
they gather together.
Yeah, they do. And they're an important part of this hobby and a growing important part of it. So, yeah, how about it? There you go. Thank you for the question. Anything else you want to say about that topic before we move on?
I mean, last I checked, half the planet is women. I feel like we should be including them if we want to grow this hobby more. So think about that one, guys.
Slightly more than half, which raises some questions.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Less dentists, more women. How about that?
You know how to get me on board. And if you throw in less kids, oh, man. We
have all you marketing bros out there, all you CEOs, there's an untapped market here. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It certainly is. And yeah, there's some great female collectors to model and look after and, follow in their footsteps as well, including Christina. So there's some nice, great blueprints out there for how to be a great female collector in this hobby. All right.
Actually collect the cards.
Well, that's a good place to start, yeah. Chaz Pennysleeve, also known as Chaz Peeve, says, when looking at and comparing comps, should there be a bigger emphasis on the difference between best offer sold and the final auction price? Are there consistencies in the data regarding the difference between what you can buy a card for and what you can get it for at auction? So basically, is there a difference between bin comps and auction comps? And I think buried in this question is should you negotiate differently whether you're citing somebody a best offer accepted versus an auction?
Oh, you answer this one, dude. You look at that stuff every day.
Yeah, I think this is always what happens when you get into the weeds of a subject is well, it depends, and it goes both ways. Sometimes bins sell way too low, and it can be a factor of a seller not knowing what they have. It can be a factor of a seller lacking confidence and just wanting to move something quickly. Whereas if that card had been given a chance to run at open auction, it would have realized its full demand and it would have sold for a lot more. But there's also the opposite situation where people will list a card for a really high bin and sort of set the anchor price. and then they end up luring in offers that are probably much higher than what that buyer would have had to pay if the card would have went to open auction, and the second highest bidder would have come in and just thrown a much lower bid on there because maybe only one person was really strongly in the market for that card at that time. I guess like the main difference here, if we were going to break it down technically, is that in an auction, the second highest bidder determines the price. And by comparison, in a bin or a best offer scenario, the highest bidder determines the price. So in an auction, it's the second highest bidder. They set the price, and then the winner just goes one small increment over it. Whereas in a bin, you have to send your best offer, and there's no second. You don't have to just beat the second best guy. You have to also induce the seller to want to sell. That's all I got on that one, Josh.
All right.
Frozen Inferno Collectibles says, do you guys track card ladder data during the weekends of big shows? So, for example, to see if there's a spike in people looking up comps on card ladder when they're on the show floor. And if so, do you think you could use that data to determine the health of the hobby?
Are you talking about traffic to the site?
Mm-hmm.
We get most of our traffic like on Mondays during the week. People get back to work and they're on their computers checking their collection value and stuff like that.
They're looking for ways to avoid working on Mondays.
Yeah, but we don't really track to the extent of, tracking people using the specific feature of like searching values on weekends and stuff. We don't really get into the weeds of following users that much, but yeah.
Yep. That's right. I mean, we do very little, honestly, looking at who's using the site, how much and when. We keep an eye on the aggregate big picture numbers, but like I don't know if that's really a great indicator of hobby health anyway. There could be a lot of different anomalous reasons for why you might see a spike in card letter usage for a show that doesn't have anything to do with that doesn't have anything to do with the health of the hobby.
Well, we're just like, we're so in tune with customer feedback and stuff that we don't really need to spy on people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Drake's PC says, someone like Peyton Manning, who is regarded as a top 3 quarterback of all time. Hey, do you think Drake likes Peyton Manning?
I saw that and I was like, top 3? Let's think about that one.
Peyton has never had a card sell publicly for over $100,000. I'm sure that Drake
This is an easy one.
That Drake used sales history to look that up. And he's right. The highest selling card that I see in card letter sales history is a 98 Contenders Peyton PSA 10.
Yeah, well, think about
Well, that sold for $72,000 in 2019. Card letter value for that card is $300,000.
Yeah, this can be easily explained. Peyton Manning does not have an RPA, and his best card is the Contenders, which is riddled with issues of autographs. Very simple to explain. How about this? Take out, do a search for Joe Burrow minus parentheses National Treasures and sort by price. Do you get $100,000 or more if you don't include National Treasures? That's the.
You do actually.
Which one? The what?
2020 Immaculate Shield, one of one.
One of one. Yeah, Peyton Manning didn't have anything like that.
No, he didn't. But that Burrow card, how much do you think that sold for?
Like $1 billion? I don't know.
Yeah. $534,000.
But Manning doesn't have anything like that.
Correct.
I had a rant off of this one, a small rant. Panini has really sick fucking cards. Like they've got really cool stuff and this goes along with what I was saying earlier, where I don't think we're baking in championships. I think people really like the selection of cards that these younger guys have. I think people are like, you know what, these RPAs, these shields, these are fucking sick, and I want to buy one. And these guys are young and exciting, and they're on teams I like, and they can sling the ball all over the place. Like I have no problem with it anymore. I'm totally changed my tune. This shit's exciting. People have money to spend. Fuck it, man. A shield, immaculate, one of one, Burrow, like hell yeah. Or do you want some like smudged Peyton Manning auto?
I agree. I think that is a huge factor. Like, look, we were looking at Michael Jordan prices. Michael Jordan's only had one card sell for over $1 million at public auction.
Because I mean, look at cards.
Ever. Yeah. Ever. But whenever we get that hypothetical question of like, what card would you create if you could create a card for Jordan? How about a 1984 National Treasures Logo Man patch auto 1 of 1? How about that? Now, what would the fuck would that card be worth? But it doesn't exist. So
I think the other like branch rant off of this is like the history of the hobby, the card selection, the importance of the actual card is very fucking important. It's not just like the hype around a player or like the fucking celebrity hype beast NFT bullshit about like this is what it should be worth. People put a lot of value into like the NTRP out of 99. They put a lot of value into cracked ice, shield autos. This stuff matters. Like these are staples of the hobby itself that have no bearing on anything else but the hobby. And that shit is important and it drives value. It drives demand. People like it. And if you don't think that, then just look at these crazy prices. Like I don't know what to tell you.
definitely. But it can also be true that like even with that considered, maybe Peyton still is being overlooked, Peyton Manning. That can still be true as well.
I think his Contenders rookie auto is a fantastic card.
Yeah.
You just got to find one with a nice auto.
Good
He's
luck.
got the SP Authentic, which is a great card. He's got good rookie cards. I think he has Legacy, Masterpiece 1 of 1s. He does have 1 of 1 rookies. So you just gotta kind of dig a little bit more.
Yeah. So you remember here's the highest selling lot Peyton Manning wise of all time. The old,
What did it sell for?
what?
What did that Luber lot sell for?
$250,000. Now, granted, it was over 2,000 cards, but man, it was pretty cool. Like, here's like the main image that was associated with this lot, and it's just you got all types of stuff in here. But yeah, Josh Luber cleaned up and dropped a cool $250,000 on that. All right. A couple questions about Alt and their auction that ended last night. And I'll just put these questions together, and then we can respond. Cal's Cards says, it was another disastrous auction at Alt. And Corner Taken Quickly says, which comes first of the following 4 options? Number 1, Alt makes it easy for users to bid on their auctions. Number 2, Alt stops their bi-monthly auctions. Number 3, users suck it up and start depositing their money on Alt. Or 4, Alt goes out of business. So a lot of people, whether rightly or wrongly, accurately or inaccurately, are upset. Well, that's not the right word. They're dismayed at nonstop instances of card selling in auction with Alt for way, way, way under the last comp and the Alt value. People are really getting worried about this. They're being bothered by this. Sometimes cards are selling for 20 to 30% of their Alt value. Like there was a Kobe Superfractor 1 of 1 that sold last night for like $7,000. The Alt value was like 27 or something, right? Is that right? Like people are worried about this, and it's causing them to become uneasy. So that needs to be said. And like now, let me say something nice about Alt, because I really, really admire the way that they built their fund. Like whether they added that Curry Logo Man autograph 1 of 1 from his rookie year to their fund, or they've got a LeBron BGS 9.5 exquisite out of 23 RPA. They've got Giannis Logo Man National Treasures 1 of 1s. They've got Giannis Prism Black 1 of 1 rookies. They just have an incredible fund. But these auctions, these are really worrying people, and I've never seen as much concern about it. I was in 3 different group chats today, and they all were not happy and concerned. So What do you think, Josh?
I think they're not happy because people are using the alt app like at shows and stuff, and they're using that to negotiate prices, and they're like not willing to sell because they don't respect the comp. Like it's just causing a lot of awkwardness in terms of like the negotiation aspects. I'll say that. And then also like, rewind our show and go talk and go see like the things that we value in terms of PWCC and Golden, and maybe the things that alt is not necessarily hitting on, where like payment option, flexibility, confidence in the marketplace platform, and mistakes made in the past around user data and things like that. I don't know. I feel like we're just beating the hell out of this dead horse with alt, and I don't know that we can. I'm not sure what more we can add to it from what we talked about previously, but
Yep. Well, I can tell you this.
do I have to pick an option of those? Like it feels like number 4. Just me being like it feels like their pride is too much to like shift away from the stock thing. I'm not sure people are gonna take option 3 and be like, you know what, I will give you all my bank information. I don't know.
Well, I know this. Lior listens, and he cares about what the community has to say. And when I made some story posts about a week or two ago, kind of explaining why I thought some of the auctions were going low, he replied, and he talked to me about it. He shared his point of view on it, and and I shared mine. And if he cares, he wants alt to become a fully realized vision. And he really cares, and he listens, and he pays attention. So, that's to their credit, and I think they do just an amazing job with the fund. And
what do you think they could do on the auction front? Like,
I mean, lots, dude, lots. First of all, we don't need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to auctions. We already have a proven system that works very well, which is a system that combines the use of invoices rather than deposit funds in advance, a system that allows collectors to send cards as a form of payment to be sold at future auctions, and the opportunity for people to buy and sell using alt while being able to opt out of the data tracking policies that are still in their terms of service, and allowing people to just operate strictly as people who want to use alt as a marketplace and a platform, rather than having to opt all the way in to being a full-blown vault member, bank account linked, social security number required, etc. So I think that there's a blueprint for how to be successful. I don't think that necessarily is the only way, but I think there's a blueprint for how to be successful. And you have companies like Golden and PWCC that do 9, possibly 10 figures in revenue per year executing on that model. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
what about, you have a clear stance around the fact that they are personally buying stuff and then reselling it as the owners is kind of, I forget the technical term of, what's the term of like where it kind of creates.
Yeah, it's like they take away the free market nature and they become like a command economy.
Yeah, this is like taking in cards that people want to sell.
Yeah, exactly. So that I definitely think that's a well-intentioned policy that in practice is devastating, because sourcing inventory interferes with the natural ebbs and flows of what owners and dealers of cards decide to send to market. Dealers and owners of cards have lots of information, and they are well equipped to decide, I should send in this Jaylen Brown Prism Gold when the Celtics in the finals, but I should hold off on selling this Trae Young Tiger Stripe when his team just got unceremoniously bounced in the first round by the Miami Heat. So, like, collectors and dealers are forced to make those decisions strategically when exchanges are filled with buyers on the one side, sellers on the other. But when you have a platform stepping in and having policies of acquiring inventory at 75 to 80% of the last comp, that creates a selection bias where the only cards that are going to get sourced as inventory are the ones that dealers identify as trending down at this time and are willing to let go at below comps. So it's going to create a biased sample of cards that gets sourced as inventory, and you're going to end up with auctions that are populated with cards that are sold by dealers who are not interested in retaining those cards. The cards that you want to have in your auction are the cards that you have to pay 110% of the last comp to pry out from the dealer. Those are the fucking cards you want in your auction, not the ones that dealers are willing to let go for 75 or 80%.
Yeah. I mean, we have to like root for alt. Like we need them to succeed. It's a part of the hobby. Like, so we're giving the feedback. We're being critical, obviously, and so I don't know. They watch the show, like you said. Hopefully they don't get too upset about our critique and make some changes, I guess. I'm not sure.
I don't think they're the type of people who get upset, and I think also that they know that we wouldn't be talking about it unless we cared and unless we felt like we had something to offer substantively. And this is nothing personal. Although, I would strongly encourage people, if they're checking comps and doing price research, to avail themselves of Card Ladder and Card Ladder sales history, because once again, we are the only platform that tracks comps and vets them for our verified sales database, and we're the only one that's pulling from 14 different marketplaces. It has a 40 million plus database going back to 2004. We're the only ones that do that. We've put such a priority on data, and when you're on the show floor or you're negotiating for a card, in my opinion, you put yourself in the most advantageous position if you have access to the best and the most comprehensive data. So Alt is a competitor of ours in the sense that they're trying to supply the market with pricing algorithms and with comps. And even with that being the case, we are still here because we understand that Alt is important to the success of this market now, because they've made themselves a figure and they've gained a lot of visibility. We're still giving advice and insight to what, in our humble opinions, would improve their services. We're still fucking saying this is ways to do things, even to a fucking competitor, because we're putting the interest of the hobby above ourselves. How about that?
Boom.
All right.
Moving on.
Baker Boys 85 says, what's your thoughts on kids in an unregulated market? Should there be an age restriction at card shows and local card shops? And the answer is yes. This is an 18 and over hobby. No, I'm just joking. We love.
Are
kids.
you joking?
Yes, because look, people sometimes can't handle subtlety. We are not against these kids. I'll speak only for myself. I am not against these kids. I am against these kids with $500,000 bankrolls per auction who are outbidding me and all the rest of us on our holy grail cards that we're never going to see come up again. Yes. So, no, we don't need to put an age limit on card shows and LCSs. But if there's a kid who pulls up in a fucking Lamborghini and gets out and has a Zion case with $10 million worth of cards in it, and has an envelope, just a wad of cash stuffed in an envelope that's flowing out of his pocket. His little skinny jeans pockets can't even hold the cash. The cash is just being compressed and squeezed, and it's flowing up over his pocket and just falling on the ground behind him as he walks, and he's so rich that he doesn't even bend over to pick it up. That ain't good for my grailed pursuits.
I just, I don't want to do the whole when I was a kid, but man, there's no way I'm letting my kid ever have that much money in the hobby. My kid's gonna have a shitty, cheap ass binder full of cool looking cards. I just feel like you can't really build the proper appreciation if you just handed, the world of $1 million cards right off the bat.
Yeah, and look, I can't hate on these kids for starting lawn mowing businesses.
Come on, man.
And
Come on.
And
lemonade stands are like the new fucking business.
Making their lemonade stands and, savvy crypto investments, but
well, then I guess they're all poor now.
Good. Maybe they'll learn the value of a dollar.
Well,
they'll learn the value of a U.S. dollar.
One of our close friends asked that we be fair and critical about alt. So then I guess I need to be fair and critical about crypto in the last week or so. Should I?
I mean, do we have a policy of being fair and balanced? I think so. We try to.
Well, I mean, we were shitting on crypto when it was peaking at 70 grand, and now here we are maintaining that consistency that it's still stupid.
And I don't even care to talk about it anymore. It was fun, and like, you know, when you see something happening that doesn't make a ton of sense and you just call the shot, and then we're off it, you know, and we move on. Because, like, look, some people have expressed to me a point of view that you and I and others might be at risk of taking a little too much pleasure in seeing prices of things go down.
Yeah, well, life's about pleasure, so leave me alone.
And in fairness to that point of view, you know, we don't want to see anybody get financially hurt. But there's a level of comeuppance when, you know, when people have called their shot and said that, you know, we're stupid or we're unable to understand, you know, and our opinion is just idiotic and stuff, and then, you know, maybe we're not as stupid as people think.
There's so many industries that make gobs of money that we potentially don't agree with, but we don't talk about it because they're not up in our grill saying how stupid we are and we don't understand things, to your point. Like, you come in my front yard, then I have to come outside and yell at you.
Yeah. Fair.
Simple as that.
You know where I thought you were going to go with this?
I thought you were going to say, you come in my front yard and let your dog shit on my lawn, and I'm going to come out and yell at you.
Yeah, fair. Do it.
Here's where I thought you were going to go with this, which is weird. It just shows what, like, a blue skies glass half full doofus I can be sometimes. I thought you were going to be like, well, you know, Bitcoin's up 4% in the last 5 days. You know,
no, dude, as much as you know, like, whenever you post you don't cherry pick. I'm not going to use the word cherry pick, but when you post, like, oh, this index versus that, even I'm a little bit like, all right, I'm going to post the 5-year crypto over just to fucking, you know, like, just to be the contrarian.
And that's what people have to understand too, is that everything generates a reaction. Everything generates a reaction. So somebody is out there shilling for crypto, and then somebody else comes in and says the bear case for crypto, and then somebody else comes back and replies to the bear. You know, it's iterative. It's these dialogues, they don't just end at they don't just terminate anywhere ever. If one guy's a bear, somebody else is going to see it and be a bull just because they want to go against it. So there's always some level of balance out there. That's why, like, the discussion never ends with any point of view. And
right.
That's something, you know, I've learned that and thought about that a lot consuming content over the years. And even getting to the point strategically of thinking to myself, like, like, if I really like a player and I post about how fucking great that player is, am I making more people hate that player? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And this is no different. You know, but then it goes to the question of, like, well, how does the majority of an audience respond? Is 90% of an audience saying, oh, that's an interesting point, and then there's just like a vocal 10% me minority who has to just, like, go against it? Or is it 50-50? I don't know, but I've definitely found that the more passionately in support of something you are, the more fucking other people are going to hate it and go against it hardcore. I've found
you and I have created a lot of haters for LeBron, Chris Paul, Jokic, and Luka. This is a fact.
Yeah.
Dude, I get some, like, nasty DMs about Chris Paul. Like, really, like, he fucking sucks. What about what now, bitch? Like, Steph Curry's killing him. I'm like, dang, dude. I don't know what I said to you about Chris Paul, but damn.
Yeah. It's and so then you really want to get to a 4D chess level. If you want to, like, influence a vocal audience to agree with you then like if I was like, I need to convert everybody over to being a Jokic fan, okay, then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do nothing but post shit talk about Jokic sucks.
PR is dumb.
PR is a terrible statistic. Skews in favor of the big man. Should have never got any MVPs. And then watch what I fucking tell you. I will get more DMs on Jokic than ever from people just like, well, actually, well, really. Yeah. So there's some galaxy brain for you.
Well, I mean, anyone, like the Bitcoin stuff, the NFT stuff, it's obviously like good for our content. We get reactions out of people. I think it's entertaining. We've taken a stance. It's part of our brand. But if you talk to me in real life, I actually do think it's stupid. I'm not faking it. I really think it's really stupid.
I can confirm that.
You saw me parade people in real life.
Yeah, I was just saying, so have others who have tried to sell it to them in real life.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Damn, does that mean that we've actually been minting crypto and NFT supporters all these months?
Don't say it like that, you fucker. Mint, the way you said that in the mint, god damn.
Mm-hmm.
Minting. What a stupid concept. What are we, like, popping breath mints here?
All right. Getting down to the last 7 or 8 questions. Okay. Ben X.
Getting down to the last 30 or 50 questions here.
All right. Ben X Crunner 1 says, according to brandminds.com, and by the way, like I went and looked up this article.
This is meaty.
Not everything was like sourced, but according to this, there were 4 million people collecting sports cards in 1993 and roughly 1 million collecting cards today. Despite this decrease, an overall increase in the amount of cards in circulation as well. Myself and most of the people I talked to have said that the cards on their want list continue to go up in price, and these aren't always niche cards either. Do you think this is sustainable? And how do you think the collector in 1993 differs from today's collector?
This is going to continue my theme of this week, which is that we don't give enough credit to the evolution of how much better the cards have been getting.
I like this theme. I think this is a fucking good theme.
It's no secret that I'm not like in love with Panini, and it's mostly like nostalgia driven and eras and players that I collect and stuff. But I will say the cards that exist today versus 1993 are fucking way better. Way better.
Dude, the big thing in 93 was the advent of the refractor.
The only one, yeah, like one option, you know? So like even if we take this premise that there's 1/4 the amount of collectors as there were in 93 and it's obvious that the values of cards is much higher than back then, the only variable that makes it that way is that the cards are better. The demand is stronger to pay more money because the cards are better.
Yeah.
And so, and the other thing I'll take from that is, goddamn, we've got 4x the amount of growth potential on the marketing side. So let's step it up, hobby businesses. Let's market better. Let's get more women in the hobby. Let's get more kids in the hobby. Let's get more everybody.
More dentists too.
I mean, there's a lot of dentists out there.
I hear chiropractors are the ones that we should get into the hobby.
Yo,
I mean, come on, build on my theme. What do you think?
I love that theme. I think that theme is so fucking correct. Yeah, I just think that's it, man. I'm dubious of the 4 million collectors in 1993 to 1 million today. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and are we comparing apples to apples there? Like, what I was a fucking collector in 1993 because I had an allowance of $5 that I was, spending on a pack of cards once a month.
Right.
So like that me as one collector in 1993 is not equivalent to me as one collector in 2022. So
you're saying there's more quote unquote rich people collecting today than back then? That's what you're saying?
I'm not a rich person,
Well, you know what I mean? Like people with more adults, more people with actual money.
Yeah.
Disposable income.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
The ratio.
and probably at scale. So if I spent $5 a month on cards in 1993, let's just say for the sake of argument, I'm spending $500 a month today. That's 100 times more than I was spending. So like me, one collector as part of the 4 million then or the 1 million now, but I'm spending 100 times more now than I was spending then. And so if you have 1 million today and they're spending 100 times more in the aggregate than the 4 million back then, well, that tells a very different picture.
It's actually 25x, taking into account the amount of people. Yeah. But $500 a month, what are you, insane? That's the most conservative estimate I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's not actual, it's just hypothetical.
You spend $500 a month on Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that's true. That's a problem. That really got to be a problem. What about the sustainability question?
What part? What do you mean?
Well, he says, despite the increase in the number of cards being made and the decrease in the number of collectors, prices of cards keep going up, even like the not neat, even like common cards, which actually like isn't, that's not quite right. Most, if not all, of the base PSA 10 stuff is absolutely plummeted in the last 2 years. But do you think it's sustainable the way that prices are increasing, but prices are not increasing right now? That's another thing where I'm like fighting the hypothetical here, because like prices are not increasing right now.
Maybe he means like the market cap, maybe he means like the market cap, like the total amount of like the sales volume is increasing. We can say that.
We can say that.
My opinion there is that like way more people stuck around during this downfall than I thought would happen. That's my takeaway, is like, content creators and flippers and people that came in that were making easy money when everything was, going up. And I thought, those people are just going to leave when things are going down. There's just like so many of them that I'm like, I can't believe you're still here. And I think that's just a testament to like, people are willing to see their value of their collection or their inventory go down. A, because like it's still up from when they started for a lot of people, but B, like they're having the time of their lives. Like it's fun. There's just, you're getting so much more value than, the X's and O's and the dollars and cents of, the inventory you build up and how you flip and your business model of it and all that stuff. Yep. And they're just having fun with it. And I can say that because I'm biased, but like I really feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah, and a lot of people have built audiences and communities, and like the thrill of like getting engagement when you're telling your story and seeing people, follow along to your story, message you about your story, message you about your cards, share their experiences, meeting in person, going to these shows. I think there's a reason why these shows are so popular. Like even as the market was beginning its decline in certain sectors, like over the winter, like because we've actually been on like a pretty slow but steady decline in a lot of different segments going back to the first of the year. Like even then when we were going to card shows, local card shows at a card show that's at a random church in Rockford, Illinois, and it used to be a 20 table show, and all of a sudden it's a 200 table show.
And they've grown out of the space.
And they had to move to a new space, and like they were not expecting this. They just had like a Facebook page, that's it, and just more and more dealers, and they're coming in from Iowa and they're coming in from Wisconsin, and like I think the in-person thing is like part of how people maybe have almost decided that, hey, it's really great when cash is coming in hand over fist, but the thrill, the excitement, the pleasure, the happiness of being part of a community, of being part of telling stories, of being part of audience building, of being part of being an audience member for somebody else, part of connecting to sports in this fashion, that and that alone is worth sticking around for.
Yeah. And, I'll go back to shitting on the other ones because why not? But like in the crypto space, the NFT space, the stock market space, what's there to talk about? It's like the price. What do I think it's going to be tomorrow? What was it yesterday? The price, the price, the price. Whereas in cards, there's just so much more to talk about. It's like, what cards do you like? Which ones look cool? Which are your favorite sets? There's still the aspect of being able to create margin for yourself because certain people value cards differently than what you did on that day. Whereas like crypto, this is the price. BTC is the same price for me as it is for you. There's no variance. There's no emotional attachment. It's just this is the price. There's nothing to it. Cards, it's like you value this at price A. Someone over here might value it at price B. I'm able to create value for myself by moving it from you to you, and I make money. And there's always going to be that avenue, no matter what the price is at. There's always this like sort of intrigue to be able to flip or to be able to create space for yourself in a certain avenue of maybe it's modern, maybe it's vintage. Like there's just so much more. You know what I mean? Like you're nodding your head a lot because it's just like there's just so much creativity to it. I'll say that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I fucking completely agree with that. Great question.
That's why we stick around. There's like infinite things to talk about. This is why we have a 2.5-hour crossover episode every week. Like, what the fuck can we talk about? Because there's just so much going on.
Absolutely. And like, we're having 2-hour episodes when our two favorite sports aren't even in season.
And crypto has Clubhouse, and they're like, what's the price today? Like, there's just nothing to talk about. The price is down. Like, what else is there to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about a market that's intrinsically tied to sports outcomes, whether it's modern players or retired players, because modern players obviously add to their legacy, but retired players become the beneficiaries of modern players adding to their legacy. Just like when Steph Curry just got his 4th title, all we start talking about is the next tier. After we celebrate Curry's accomplishment, the next thing we talk about is how does it stack up against LeBron? How does it stack up against Michael Jordan? Oh, what were those guys' legacies? What was Magic Johnson's legacy? Is Stephen Curry a better point guard than Magic Johnson was? And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, Magic Johnson, has all these accolades. He has 5 fucking championships. He has how many finals MVPs? Like, and all of a sudden these other guys are cast in a new light as well. So when you have a market, like a collectibles market for cards, that's tied to the dynamism of sports and the unpredictability of sports, that market is always going to be infused with content, with energy, with vigor, with intrigue, with potential, with hope, with optimism, with pessimism. The dynamics will always be there. And that's something that's super unique about cards that I don't think any other market that I can think of offers to the same extent. In the stock market, you get it to some extent with evaluating businesses and their earnings reports and their prospects of future growth and future declines, and you can get really tricky and you can short stocks and stuff like that. But
you can talk about the individual companies too and like what they're innovating on, what they're building. So there's some
absolutely.
of that.
And brand loyalty and stuff like that.
Yep.
But like
Yep.
within cards, like it's not forced at all. We as Matt Greeny of My Slabs once said, when you're a sports card collector, doing your homework means watching sports.
It's great.
So that's
He said that on Cardboard Chronicles years and years ago.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a really good billboard ad or whatever. That's such a good one single liner.
Yeah, it is. All right. Mark, Sweat 47.
Our chat's smarter than we are, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? That fucking puts me at ease for some reason. I should be intimidated that the chat is the idiot on the screen talking, but it puts me at ease. All right.
I thought about that. I was thinking about that earlier today, how long can we keep this going? And I'm like, forever. We're just hanging out, talking shit. The chat always is supplying us with energy and hilarious comments. This could go on forever.
Don't tempt us. All right. When starting a new player PC, how do you ingratiate yourself to collectors of that player? It's been my experience that certain player collectors are wary of new entrants into that player's market. So please discuss what might be ways to maneuver around these hobby gatekeepers.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're wary because they see a lot of people coming in looking to just kind of profit off of that player or like flip or, jump on the bandwagon late. The easiest way to ingratiate is like be genuine about it. Like, are you actually wanting to collect this person? And if so, it's going to be easy. It's going to be an easy path for you, Maybe like pick up a few cards that you feel would earn the respect of that community. Something that you didn't necessarily have to like pawn it off of someone already in the community. You have to like take a card from them. You scouted it out yourself. You found something on eBay and you kind of work your way up. I think a lot of it is just like time commitment. You got to be in that community. You've been collecting Christian McCaffrey for multiple years, Luka. At a certain point, if you've been doing it for a long time and you've been picking up a lot of cards on your own and through the community, you're just going to earn the respect kind of organically over time.
Yep.
No, so you got to pick up the biggest, best card you can find, slap it on the table, and then say, "I'm here now, bitch."
That's the way I did it with Mikal Bridges, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Like, just find me the best shit immediately, and I'll just start slapping it around. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, like, totally empathize with Mark. When you're just a genuine collector trying to make your way in the collecting community of a player and, like, people are freezing you out, not respecting you, that's BS and it sucks. But the reason why it happens is because there are guys who will pose as collectors to try and get discounts, to try and involve themselves in the community, earn the trust of the collectors of those players. They'll take those discounted cards that they were able to get connected to through networks and through sweet deals that they made by just, posing as a true player collector of this player, and then they'll flip them for money, and then they'll leave the circle of collecting that player, and almost, in instances that I've observed, most of the time they end up trashing that player.
Yeah.
Leave it worse they leave it worse than when they came in.
They leave it worse than they came in, and then all of a sudden all their content is why so-and-so is overrated. I'm so glad I sold that player's cards. And that's why people don't want to just let anybody into their community.
Like, they have to do that because, like, if they're, like, honest with themselves and they say, like, that player is actually amazing and I sold too soon, then, like, they want to find a rope in a closet.
Christina making rope jokes.
Yes, Hudson. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Baseball card exchange. I'm sorry, Josh. Did you have something else you wanted to go with?
No, that was like your kind of question because you've got that whole rant about, the content creator quality and how they go about it, and when they're like using collectors to kind of boost themselves and then leave them in the dust. It's just like that. You're right. That's a big reason.
Yep. Okay. Baseball card exchange says, who are some water into wine quarterbacks in 2022? And I'm interpreting that to mean, like, who are some quarterbacks who are just obscure, dwindling in irrelevance? Is that a fucking word? Quarterbacks that are not on the radar right now that could be big breakout stars in 2022.
So like Josh Allen would not qualify for this.
No.
Lamar Jackson.
No, I mean, he's the youngest MVP in NFL history. Like, he's already.
I know what I feel like. I feel like people are counting him out right now.
Yeah, he got way too hot, and then now the pendulum is way too far the other way. This guy's still a fucking MVP.
I like Jordan's. I like Fat Snacks. Jalen Hurts. They got a legit receiver now. That's a good one.
On that note, Tua has Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Maybe the best receiving corps in the NFL.
Dude,
the other one is Derek Carr.
God damn it! Somebody shout out
Dave, where you at?
Shout out to David Kahana it was South. It was South on Clubhouse who said Derek Carr is a great quarterback, but he's going to have to climb the Vegas Dave Mountain in order to gain hobby relevance. And that stuck with me because I was like, yeah, dude, he is going to have to climb that mountain.
He's also kind of in like that Jimmy Butler phase of his career where like people and Matt Stafford, like where people are probably just aren't going to start dropping massive dollars on him, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right. I like Tua. Tua's I'll go.
I don't like Tua.
Yeah. Jameis Winston, yeah. That's who Kahana is very high on. Okay. Ilya Cards asks, is Daniel Jones a top 32 quarterback?
No.
Oh, not even in the top 32?
I've seen enough. Get him out of here.
Okay. All right.
Mitchell Trubisky, that guy's top 32. Would you rather have Mitch Trubisky or Daniel Jones?
As a Bears fan, I've watched a lot more Mitch Trubisky than most, and I haven't watched much Daniel Jones at all. But Mitch Trubisky has put up some decent seasons. I think he led a team to a 13-3 record, and if not for the double doink, maybe that team even made a playoff run.
Yeah. I would rather have Colt McCoy than Daniel Jones, and he's the Cardinals' backup, so there you go.
Wow.
I'd rather have Trubisky. He got screwed over by a bad coach who didn't want him or want to trust him and replaced him as soon as possible. So, yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that report? I think it was Darnell Mooney said something like, man, these coaches that we have now actually know what they're doing, or something like that. It was something about like he was just throwing total shade at the previous coaching.
Wow. All right. Well,
it was like a real nasty, like, wow, these guys actually know how to coach. It was like something so simple as like, these guys know how to run a practice,
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that.
So there you go.
That's really good. All right, 3 questions to go here. Bruin Killer says, what are the benefits and the drawbacks of announcing on social media that the last card you need to complete a set is X?
You're asking me, or this is you, bro?
This is me, bro.
Christina needs 2 more to complete her Maxi Rainbow.
Okay.
Yeah, but you always are telling people what you're trying to buy and stuff. That's what this is talking about.
Yeah, but completing a set is different than, like, I just want to pick up this one grail. So the benefit of telling people what the card is that you need to complete your set is that people will start looking for you. And, like, your eyes out there, like, will help you get that card. Or at least alert you when that card pops up. The drawback, which I have faced, is that certain people, when they know that certain people are looking for a card in this hobby, will upcharge you like a mofo because they know that you're looking for this player's card. So potentially, for example, let's say a card goes up for sale in a private group and someone knows you collect this
it's
player.
Not story time.
Okay.
Dude, no. Hold on a second. You fucking texted her, hey, keep it short, and then you rambled on, and I was like, Christina, get this motherfucker right now. Kill him.
Look, somebody has to just draw the fucking line.
Who draws the line on the guy that draws the line?
Who watches the watcher? Look, if your story's going to go into over 60 seconds, you got to come on camera. You have to come on camera.
As the guy whose face is on the show and is 50% of the show, I was going to say Christina, though, but in the case of Maxi Kleber, isn't it worth it? Like, wouldn't you, like, if you want to find those last 2, you're willing to overpay on those last 2, right?
Yeah, the story.
Come talk to the camera. So I'm just not this.
I'm like working.
I'm not
over
this
there.
tomato. Just looking.
It's just funny. It's just funny. Also, like having you guys react to my story while I'm over there. So, Okay, so the story is, though, that the card goes up for auction, or the card goes up as like is anyone interested in this card? You should actually come in. But and then the person who knows that you collect this player messages you and says, "What would you pay for this?" And then you throw out a number because you think they own it and like you're trying to get this card. And then they're like, "Oh, perfect." Then another person messages you and he's like, "Hey, someone in my group is selling this card. Do you want me to connect you with this person?" But you already have this like semi-deal with another person and you're like, "Wait, what's going on? Is this person shopping the card to other people?" And you kind of freak out because you're like, "Wait, was my offer not like big enough?" And then you find out the first fucker doesn't even own the card yet. He used your offer to then get the card for cheap and then flip it to you and make a quick buck. So that's the drawback of everyone knowing what cards you're chasing. And it sucks. Thanks, Hobby.
There you guys go. You wanted the story? You got the story. I tried to help you guys, but...
You're not a tomato, though.
I'm not?
No, you're not. Someone said tomato this week. You're not. You're just a regular, pasty, fucking white boy.
I'm an onion. No, back to onions.
I think that me and Nick have like the exact same sense of humor. That's pretty amazing.
But by the way, like, Christina's story is basically this. And, like, people do this and, like, it's their prerogative to do it. But, you know, if they know that Christina wants a card and then they see somebody else selling it, instead of just saying, like, "Hey, look, somebody's selling this card on Facebook. You should go buy it." They say, "Christina, how much would you pay for this card?" And then Christina's like, X dollars. And then he goes and buys it for 0.3x and then sells it back to her. And so, you know, look, this is one of the reasons why coining exists. This is why when people want to buy a card, they say, "Prove to me that the card is in your possession by putting a picture of your ID or writing your name on a piece of paper and putting it next to the card. Prove that you own the card so that this isn't happening to them." But, you know, hey, people's networks and price and value, you know, those are valuable too. So there's different levels to this.
I have a funny observation.
Yeah, sure.
When Christina becomes visible on our show, the chat goes fucking insane. Like, it's like this steady pace all night of like one every few seconds.
Yeah.
The second she comes on and starts going off on our stories, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and it's mostly Josh and Nick mocking me.
I was hoping she wouldn't have said that, but
oh shit! Yeah, dude, the chat got more comments in the last 5 minutes than it did in the first 100.
Okay, one, I wasn't on the fucking camera for 5 minutes. It wasn't that long of a story. And then two, but you could tell your stupid Jalen Williams story 5 million times, and Josh Lags will sit through it every time.
That was the first time this audience got it.
No, it wasn't. Those guys are on Clubhouse.
Well, yeah,
this fucking audience.
20, but this will be listened to and downloaded by thousands of fucking people.
That joke is like the equivalent of a dad joke, bro. That's like, Jalen Williams.
I fucking thrive on dad jokes. Have you seen those? Have you seen those guys who make reels with the dad? You know, who's like real corny and.
Yeah. The New Balance thing. Yeah.
Have you seen the one yet where the dad goes into the hardware store?
Yep. The Home Depot is so good.
So fucking good, dude. Why do we slander dad jokes? Dad comedy is.
Dude, the best TikTok I've ever seen. I'm all about TikTok. It's just, you know, horribly addicting and terrible for me, but I love it. Is that the account you're talking about? They're at a restaurant and the kid, it's the younger guy. You know what I'm talking about? He cleans the plate and then the waitress comes over and the dad's like, "Say it." And he's like, he goes, "How was your meal?" And he's like, "Can't you tell it was horrible? I hated it."
We literally made that joke tonight when we were out to dinner.
Somebody tell us what the name of this account is. I'd like to show one of their.
It's McFarland's or something.
McFarland.
Yes. They had one today where the dad came over to help them move, and he had like his waist, belt to like help lift stuff. He's like, lift with your legs, not your back. Stuff like that. Okay. The Home Depot one you're talking about is really good.
Oh, dude, that one is so fucking funny.
He's like, hey, buddy, what are you, lost or something?
There it is, right there.
Which one?
The one down the far left.
What's the account name? What's the account name? Say it out loud.
The account name is called It's the McFarlands.
One word.
Thank you.
It's the McFarlands.
Best TikTok account by far.
Yeah. You should.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is fucking elite.
It's so good, dude. It's an amazing account.
Ask somebody. Ask him right there. Hey, buddy, you lost? Where was your weed whacker string? Stay right here. I'm gonna find you some help, okay?
I love how the sun is gone when he turns around.
Attention shoppers. We've got a dad in aisle 37 that has no idea what he's doing. So when you see him, go ahead and point.
Every dad's worst nightmare is being exposed at a Home Depot.
Yeah, dude, so let's not act like dad comedy isn't top 3 genres of
Look how many followers they have. Like, obviously dad jokes work.
Yeah, I've seen other accounts now that are copying them and like doing the whole New Balance shoe thing, but that account is like the best one for sure.
All right.
In the restaurant one, right? The clean your plate thing.
Oh yeah. I'd love to show that one. Let me just.
He's like, can't you tell? I hated it. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
funny.
it's a little bit older. That one's funny too. All the ones there's multiple ones in the restaurant, and they're all good.
Dude, the acting is right. The dad is the star of the show.
Yeah, the dad is great. It's the McFarlands. I don't want to spend too much time trying to.
How many questions you got left?
2.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. Go look it up yourself. You can waste a Saturday afternoon watching these guys. Oh, we already got this question last week, but Ryan Bitter says, is the word grail overused or misused in the hobby? And we talked about this, but do you want to rehash any of it?
I don't remember what we said, but probably. But, it's our word, so let us use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it just loses its meaning if fucking literally everything is a grail, but not everything is a grail. Every person has a different grail.
Right. I use grail as like, I think you and I have a similar grail usage, which is like, it takes a lot of energy and effort to get this card, and it costs a lot of money, and we have to like plan around it kind of thing. That's the grail to us. It doesn't necessarily mean one specific card.
Definitely. All right. Card Shop Dad says, this is the last question.
Perfect. You end with a dad.
Yeah. And one of our MVP question askers. And this is one of the first times we've made it through all the questions, but I really fucking wanted to do it today. I don't know why. But Card Shop Dad said those breakers pulled another triple logo man, referring to a Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson logo man. Is it a conspiracy or no?
I mean, I don't pretend to know a lot about breaking, but those guys don't make any extra money by having pulled that card, right?
Not directly, but it certainly, leads to more customers and stuff, I would think.
Yeah, it's marketing in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I wish it would get spread out a little more.
Yeah. Look, I think maybe I think one of the things you're getting at is like, would it ever be in Panini's best interest to supply one distributor or one breaker with? And no, definitely not. Definitely not. So
Yeah, no.
I have a
Do you
hard
think it's a
time.
coincidence?
Well, I've heard from people who are knowledgeable that they are like the biggest breaker right now in like volume. So, like, if it's a statistics like ratio thing, like it makes sense that they're pulling some bangers. But you've heard about them twice in the last couple months, but like they break every fucking day, and you don't hear about them every day. So
Yeah. Yep. But always fun to have conspiracies, especially in this hobby. So yeah, let's say yes, it's all rigged against all of us. All right.
I just don't see how that's against us. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
They don't get anything extra out of it other than marketing, and it mildly annoys us.
We don't get
It's
to
not like they're
pull it.
fucking.
That's what.
It's not like they're getting.
against us.
It's not like they're getting rich.
Yeah. Okay. Bonus question. Seek Heat says, what happened to the biggest fallers category on Card Ladder? Personally, I found that to be the most interesting part of the homepage. The most interesting. Wow.
Yeah, why would you nuke that, Chris?
Because that feature was showing nonsense. It was showing base cards, raw base cards going from 99 cents to 1 cent and vice versa.
And this is the first time that it's ever been brought up that I removed it.
Yeah, and that's a huge factor is that, there were people voicing concern that it cluttered their dashboard, notwithstanding the fact that you can customize it. And also, if you are interested in that data, it will be a little bit more difficult. It'll be a lot more difficult to get to it now, but go over to the ladder and just sort by 90 days, 90-day change, and go to the highest percentage and lowest percentage. That's it. That's all that feature was doing, was showing you the last 90 days, the lowest percentage, the most red, the most negative percentage change. Those were the biggest fallers over the last 90 days. So if you ever want to go look at it, just hop over to the ladder, set it to 90 days as the time horizon, and then just reverse sort it. 90-day percentage change, just reverse sort it, and you can look at the bottoms. Like, should I demonstrate this really quick?
I think you did a
I'll
good
demonstrate.
job
Yeah.
explaining it.
No, that's all right. I want to demonstrate it.
Okay.
So go over here, click on ladder,
Can you keep it short?
come over here, and go to quarterly change, and then rather than this is like this fucking $2 Young Guns card has had a quarterly change of 20,000% because it's probably 1 cent a quarter. Okay, but just push this arrow to reverse sort it. So now it's reverse sorted. When it's pointing up, you can make a point down as highest to lowest, pointing up as lowest to highest. And then here you go. Captain America, 1 fucking penny. Last sold. Quarterly change, it's down 99.84%. And by the way, minus 100% is the lowest, the largest change in the negative anything can have. So, all right. That'll do it. Made through every question. Great show. I sobered up a bit as we went on.
Both like alcoholic wise and also like reasonable human being wise.
In all the ways. So, let's see how many crossovers until the national. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 crossovers until the national in Atlantic City. And by the way, I'm subtly excited for Atlantic City. I like cities on the water. I like boardwalks. I like casinos. So I'm going to be in a state of bliss in Atlantic City, I think.
Let's make the best of it.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Should we tease about Monday?
Our thing? Yeah, well, no, let's not tease that right now.
Okay.
But we can tease that at the beginning of a show. So
Over under number of times the Card Ladder team frolicked up and down the boardwalk.
10?
Wow. Taken take the number 8, turn it sideways. That's how many times.
It's happening.
All right, so look, the clubhouse room for the post crossover has already begun.
Oh my God.
See you guys over there.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.